Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining today. As some of you may know, if you're new to my channel, you may not. Thank you so much for subscribing, really appreciate it. But I'm here to just make really simple videos with minimal editing. So we'll see how that goes in the future. I might have to add more fancy diagrams and switch chairs and buy a better, fancier camera. But for now, I just really want to have a nice little coffee side chat. Don't have my coffee here. I should go get some. It's actually like what, 2 p.m. almost, so I don't drink coffee anymore. But yeah, this is the general idea, just having a general fireside coffee chat. I was actually speaking to my manager today, and we had a really great call about how women's empowerment is actually a really good business initiative and a good business case for corporations, right? It's the same thing you could argue with immigration as well, actually. But specifically for women's empowerment, which is a general theme that I would love to have on this channel, I've personally been studying a lot about real estate investment, other passive income streams, YouTube strategies, as well as all different types of e-commerce websites, Amazon FBA, and different ways of selling things, like even fulfillment by Amazon. So there's many different ways to create income online, and the world has completely changed in that respect. But in terms of women's, which has also actually inevitably empowered more women to become multi-millionaires. I have some friends in the Bay Area who have their own private jets, and they're female founders, they're exceptional women. I also have some other female founder friends who just raised like an extra $22 million in funding. So there's a lot of really great talent here, and e-commerce and the online market in general has democratized access to financial wealth, to resources. I mean, essentially you can learn anything you want online. There's like LinkedIn Learning, that's pretty affordable. There's Lynda, there's MIT, Harvard, all of these other applications and websites online that allow you to research and understand everything. Primarily I use YouTube and LinkedIn Learning, but there's so many different resources. I mean, I honestly learn even just by watching Netflix TV shows or Instagram Reels. So there's just so much information thrown at us nowadays, and that has really empowered women, but also people in general, and allowed more access and more globalization efforts. So we can watch TikTok videos from people in China or people from the Philippines, right? Makes us feel more like one cohesive unit versus all these disparate nations and, you know, separation by race, ethnicity, nationality, socioeconomic class, appearance, gender, you know, all of that. So anyways, back to empowerment. I think it's incredibly important for women to speak up more, to have their voices heard in meetings, in the corporate world if you're there, or if you're on these types of platforms, speaking up more openly and actively, because there's been so many studies by Harvard, McKinsey, all of these reputable, legitimate organizations on how like women's empowerment actually impacts the corporation's bottom line and improves the ROI of the company overall. Having more women in management, for example, or having more women at senior levels of management as well, both of them can actually help increase the corporation's bottom line. And I think that's primarily because you have this diversity of voices, right? This diversity of thought, different perspectives. I mean, in your day-to-day network, in all the people that you know, who's going out and buying stuff for the household? Yeah, I think about 90% of the time it's the women, right? I do it for us, my husband and I, and my sister-in-law also does it. I mean, I can't just speak from my own personal experience. The data is clearly there as well. So, you know, the data shows that women are the main financial spenders for the household. They make all of the decisions generally around what to buy and when to buy, especially for like groceries, household items, all of these things. And so we have not only incredible purchasing power, but just it's so important that, you know, the more money we make, the more we can give back to society, the more we can contribute to the company, right? And the more value we can add overall. So, you know, I don't know how long I'll be in the corporate world, but I absolutely am so grateful to all of the experiences, all of my amazing bosses. I've been so fortunate to have really awesome, understanding, empathetic, really like managers who are advocating for me, pushing me to, become uncomfortable and be okay with being uncomfortable. All of these amazing things that have really helped to create a stronger, more independent woman who is a millennial. But yeah, it's so fascinating. The world is changing so fast. And, we've all seen with this war in Ukraine and just the pandemic over the past 2 years, now we're coming into a recession. Also, so I'm like on a billion topics here, but just so that you know, I actually did a master's degree in economics as well, and a UC Berkeley degree in economics, political economy. So I have some background in terms of like just watching it on the macroeconomic level and then also on the microeconomic level. And just, yeah, I mean, it's so clear to me that everything is interconnected. Like, we've never seen it this much, right? It's never been this obvious that we're all literally interconnected. So there's fires happening right now in Yosemite, which is about 4 to 5 hours away from San Francisco Bay Area, but that will affect us, right? Global warming is affecting every single person on this planet. The war in Ukraine is affecting our gas prices, right? Or also it's impacting the stock market, and just financial instability or financial worries about the future, right? Knowing the stock market in general, though, and all of the research I've done, the general trends, it's always going to go up generally about 6% every year on average over the course of, like, let's say 10 years. So even if there is a recession in the short term, in the long term, the stock market will go back to its general, like, increasing and producing results. And, at the end of the day, like, America is run by corporations, right? We're all here as part of these huge conglomerate corporations. This is not a communist society, not a socialist society. So we are run by corporations for corporations. And so you have to really understand how to be a corporation then too, right? So that's something I've been learning. I've met some really awesome people recently, all of whom are Black, actually. I don't think there's a correlation, but dude, they're freaking awesome. They've all created their own LLC in the past, and they are all, like, some of them are being hired as LLCs, or they just have the LLC on the side and are using it as, like, part-time income for, like, their mortgage, for their second home, or whatever the case is, or just using it as tax write-offs and whatnot. So you definitely have to do more research into that. I'm not giving any financial advice here, but just different things to think about and different things to look into. Again, this channel is mostly for women's empowerment, but that also means financial empowerment and financial equity, right? And as I mentioned before, America is run by corporations. So we always have to think in terms of, like, the business economic impact, right? And make sure that, when you're supporting women's rights or you're talking about abortion, you're not just saying this is how it should be, but really, how does it impact the business? How does it help improve the business if women have more access to abortions or different types of maternity care, or freezing eggs and the ability to do that? Well, I can give you the short answer. It definitely helps to have options. Because as a woman who is of childbearing age, I can wait another 5 years. I'm 33 right now. I can wait another 5 years to have children by freezing my eggs now, or I can adopt, or I can get into foster care, or I could try and have my own child, but at least I have time, right? And I have this ability of choice of, if I need to have an abortion for a medical reason, I can do that, right? And so I think there's just many benefits to abortion and just maternal health care that we don't think about, because we don't really relate it to the business impact as well. And so as a woman, if I am working till 38 and then I decide to have a child, right, that actually gives me more time to contribute to the workforce and move up the ladder potentially, or just be able to create more value and contribute to a corporation and society in general financially, right? Because as many of you know too, the birth rate is around 2.2 for women in America. So we are running out of people in a way, like there's not enough people to replace, and there's tons of labor shortages. 2.2 sounds good, but it's actually right about break even. And so, yeah, there's just a lot of factors to consider when thinking about women's empowerment. But mostly, we live in America, so you have to go back to the focus on improving corporate rights and increasing, the bottom line. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time today and hope you learned something. Thank you.